All right, so when you first load it up, you're going to be greeted. Well, when you first load up the third person template, you're going to be greeted with this screen right here. All right, now I watched tutorials on this, so I want to keep this simple as I possibly can. So, this is the main screen. This is the title of where you're at right now. So, this is the third person example map. This is where you're at. This is a level. Okay. Your projects will be separated within levels, which is a very, very loose term I'm using right now because you can do some crazy things with levels. But whatever level that you're in will be displayed up here. Okay. Right below this, you have your file, your edit, your window, and your help. Now, if you use any other program, pretty much every other program you use is set up the same way. Under file, you will have new level. So if I click new level and say and go to it, it's going to erase all this and give me a brand new level and I can choose what I want. So let's just see that. New level, and I can choose what I want to do. So I can go to default, a time of day reference, a VR reference, and then an empty level if you want to make something on your own. This default will come with just this mesh right here. This is there's a name for this. We'll go over that later. Yeah, we'll go over that later. But you can use this mesh to make worlds with. But it will just open up a brand new project for you. Okay, so that's that. Open level, it'll find a level that you have already within this, the same project folder and open it up for you. Save, you always want to do that. It'll save for you now. Save as in case you want to save something different. Save everything. Open asset, save all. Choose files to save. Source control for those coders. New project, etc., etc. You know, pretty much self-explanatory um, things. And then you have your edit, your undo, or your control Z, redo, undo history, editor preferences, project settings, and plugins. Now, this is pretty important right here. Project settings. If you open that up, this is where some of the deeper things of your system come in at. So, like button commands, collision detections, you know, what else is in here? It's a lot, man. It's a lot. You're going to come here a lot because this is where the well, your project settings, the settings of your projects is going to be at. So you're going to come here a lot, and we're going to come here a couple of times for some things that we're going to do that I'm going to show you. What else is in here? Plugins. Whenever you download a plugin is something specific that goes into the engine itself. So, for instance, there's a targeting system that you can add as a plugin to the engine. When you add a plugin into the engine, it's a code that goes directly into the engine itself, meaning it becomes part of the engine's code. Okay, now you can replicate that code and make it, but when you download some projects, if it says a plugin for this, a plugin for that, it's something that's going directly into the code base of the engine. Okay, and you can turn that on and off. So this is what that looks like. And it has some things already that are not on. Like if you want to enable it or disable it's right here. And normally when you enable it, it asks you to restart the engine. See, because it has to go back and reread that code to add it. And there's like a lot of different things. A lot of these things I have not used. I haven't used and ventured in. Window, pretty much your basic stuff. Yeah, you can change how it looks, reset it, you know, a lot of different things in here, a lot of deep stuff in here, and of course help and everything else. So help, if you come over here, this is going to be glowing. This is your learning tab. It will do what I'm basically finna do. It'll give you a quick tutorial of the engine for you. We don't want to do this right now, so exit. But it'll give you a quick tour over this just in case you forget anything, which is great. All right. This right here is where you're going to be constantly going, like all the time. This is where all your files is at. like everything. Where your geometry's at, the mannequin, which is this guy. The starter content, remember we said that we wanted to use starter content. The third person, the type of blueprints and your characters, everything that you have, this is going to be flooded with stuff by the time that you're done. Okay? And this is, so like when you click on over here in this little browser right here is where you're going to get this option or these folders at. And you can open these up right here by clicking this tab, and you can go to starter content and open it up. And all these other folders that are parented to this folder right here, you click it and then it'll show open over here. So this is everything that's in the architecture folder right here. Okay, so all your file management is right here. All right, up here you have a lot of different basic settings that you can add. Oh, basic settings. So here's your basic. You have characters you can add, a pawn, you can add a light, the player's start, which is literally where the player starts at right here. You can add a quick cube, like so. Spear, a lot of basic stuff, that you can add. These are your lights. So like there's a light source right now lighting this up. It's right here, like this first one selected, directional light. And you could press the E key, right? The E key and actually move it around. See that? So that's a light. A point light is just kind of like a light in the scene, as you can see. A spotlight, a redirect light, and a skylight. And this has a skylight in it too. Where is it at? We'll find it. You have semantics, which is something I have not used too much. Visual effects, geometry, volumes, etc. So these are some basic things all around that could be quickly placed in the world. So here's your files. Here's basic things that can be placed in the world you can start playing with. Now let's go over here. Right here is everything that's placed in the world already. So if you're looking for a specific thing, like let's just say you wonder where this wall is at right here, right? Now you got what, four walls. You might not see it, or you see it now because there's not like 1,000 things over here. But when you do have 1,000 things over here, you might need to get this specific thing and do something to it. Well, it's going to be right here. It's going to be highlighted. Okay, and like, say you have like a lot of things in your scene, and you're picking around, and you're like, man, I can't choose what I want to choose. Well, just come here and search for it and double click. Like, say I'm gonna go to, I don't know what floor this is, so I want wall 7. I double click it, boom. Click it, and it highlights it, and you go to wall 7. So everything that you place in this level is going to appear right here. It might be parented to something else, grouped with something else, but everything is going to be right here in the case that you can't simply click it and select it here. The details panel right here. Everything that's in your level, the settings for that will be right here. Okay, so whatever you click, whatever you find here, like the floor, right? The floor is highlighted right here. The details for what that is doing in your world basically is right here. You have the location, the rotation of the object, how big it is. I don't want to get into this the deeper stuff, but mobility, basically, is it just there? Can it move, basically? All right, and then you have the type of what it is. It gives you a little preview of what it is by itself. You have the material that is using. The material that is using is the color, or what type of surface does it have? The material. So literally think of a material on one object in your world as a literal material in the real world. Right now, look at anything around you. Your keyboard. Okay, what color is it? It's probably black. What is it made out of? Plastic. How does it feel? Kind of rough. What type is it? Well, I see the name, and the name is kind of smooth where the name is at. Mine says razor. All right. Materials. Think of materials in the real world for anything that can be placed in a game world because they're called materials now. All right. You have more options down here, and these will vary according to whatever object is in your level. All right. So you have physics. Basically, can it be messed with? Can it be moved? All right. You have your collisions, which is very important. If collision was not on, this character would simply fall through this because there is no collision. Okay. So here's all your presets for that. Your lighting, whether it affects lighting or not, does it make a shadow or not? Rendering, is it visible? Like if I say no, then it's invisible. All right. So rendering is basically is the engine processing it so that it renders, so that you can see it. What is it doing? I see this object, I know what this is, but how am I going to program it into your level? What do you want me to do with it? How am I going to render this service to you? Okay. Virtual texture, haven't messed with that too much. Tags is really important. You can do a lot of different things to different materials with an array. Basically, give it many things that it can do. All right. And other things like auto activation and other deeper things down here. But basically, what you want to worry about when you get started is the material, what type it is, the location, rotation, can it move or not, physics and collision and lightning, just basic things. So, to recap, because it's been on for almost 12 minutes now, this is where your files is at. Everything that you download and that you create will be here. This is basic stuff that you can place in the world. Anything that you place in the world will pop up over here. You can simply go to it. The details about that specific object that you placed in your world will be over here. And that'll do it for this video.